Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Emily, and today I am going to take you guys along with me as I set up the audiobook editions for my new novella, The Sea at the End of Everything. We just funded the audiobook edition of this story through the Kickstarter, so it is time to get started on the auditions. I use ACX, which is the Amazon company for Audible. It allows you to claim your book off Amazon, set up auditions, go through different performers, and pick who you would like to produce your audiobook. It is a fairly simple process, so let's jump on over into the screen share. The first thing that you're going to need to do before you actually log into ACX is you're going to have your book set up for pre-order, just the ebook on Amazon. ACX will pull your book directly from Amazon. You have to go into ACX and claim it. So I've got The Sea at the End of Everything set up on Amazon. I have the pre-order out later than what I think it's actually going to be, because the worst case scenario is I can just change it to sooner when I know what it is. And we are going to go to acx.com and we're going to log in or get started. I've done this before, so I'm just going to log in. And they changed the layout of this recently. I went in yesterday for the first time in a couple months just to remind myself of what I was doing for this video, and I just went, everything is mostly the same. So automatically we have my projects. You can see all the In Dying Starlight books, and they're all squished down because Square audiobooks, and I haven't put in an audiobook cover for all of these yet because I'm not producing them yet, and it doesn't really matter. But you can see all my books that I have not posted. I have just claimed them. I tend to go in and claim all my books from Amazon because I have heard stories of where other people can try to claim your books before you and produce the audiobook and make money off of it, and you have to go through a whole process to get the scammer to not do that. And the easiest thing to do is, once you have your book up for pre-order, just go into ACX and claim it. You don't have to produce an audiobook, you just have to claim it as yours, and that's very easy to do because we're going to do that next. You can see completed up here. I have Under the Earth, Over the Sky, but we're going to go to claim your title, and it's going to give you things that it thinks are yours. That's a magazine I was in, so I'm not going to claim it. Same with this. You can search by your name. Obviously, it didn't come up. The Sea at the End of Everything is a brand new book, and sometimes it just doesn't come up in search results yet. You can see if I type in, it's going to give me a bunch of other things that aren't correct. The easiest way to always get it right is go down and grab your ASIN number, stick it in there, search for it, and there we go. So I'm just gonna hit "This is my book," and if you already have audio files, you can sell it here. You can press continue here. If you are looking for someone to narrate and produce the audiobook, you hit continue. They've got their whole agreement, but basically over on the side, you're just agreeing to the fact you have the audio rights. You want to add your book to ACX to get it produced. They're saying you can meet with potential narrators and produce your book on ACX. At a bare minimum, if you go through ACX, you will distribute through Audible, and you can decide at a later time if you're going to be exclusive or non-exclusive to Audible, and that you're just going to put the accurate information into your profile and title about the book. Going exclusive or non-exclusive is up to you. There are benefits and downsides to each, and that kind of requires some research because each book and each genre is different. For me, I'm going non-exclusive, which means I can go everywhere. I will get fewer royalties, but I literally have to do this if I want to distribute the audiobook file to my Kickstarter backers, so I don't have a choice in this matter. A lot of people do exclusive, a lot of people do non-exclusive. That's kind of up to you. It's a complicated thing, and it kind of sucks because Audible is not a very nice company to small authors, but this is the easiest way to get your audiobook produced, at least in my experience. So we're going to agree and continue. So it's going to pull in my description for my book from Amazon, so it's kind of not formatted nicely. I'm just doing this for my own sake. You don't need to do it, but it kind of bugs me that it's all in one big paragraph like that, so we're going to do that. It might automatically put it back, but I don't know. Formatting with Amazon's a little weird and a little funky, and you kind of have to mess with it. So we just got the copyright owner, which, if you're self-publishing, is you. I'm not really sure what you would put in here if you were traditionally published, but if you're traditionally published, this is something your publisher would likely be handling. My book is fiction. The best category is going to be fantasy, so sci-fi and fantasy. Do you want to receive auditions for this project? Yes. I know you can. If you go over here, find talent, you can go through audiobook narrators and invite them in. I think I did it once before. I'm a little uncertain on how to actually do it, but you're gonna get a lot of auditions depending on the price range you select and you know, what your marketing and your social media is. Someone with maybe a massive AuthorTube channel is going to get a ton of auditions, and I got a good number. I think I got over 50 for Under the Earth, but I had a very successful Kickstarter for it, so that helped a lot. For this, I'm going with female, English. I genuinely don't know about the accent, so I'm just going to go with general American. I'm going to go with young adult. I think early 20s is probably considered young adult in here because they've got teenager. So I'm guessing they mean young adult as an age range, not as the literary category, which is rapidly becoming weird. Vocal style, I really don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to leave that blank. As it says, you can provide directions and advice to producers who want to audition. You can also include your marketing plans, selling point, bestseller status, and social media followers. So I've got this stuff pre-typed up because it's going to take you a while. I've got all of this. I'm just gonna grab it. So I've never actually seen anybody give advice on what to write in here, so I winged it the first time, and I'm winging it now because apparently it worked out the first time. I don't know if there's anything specifically you're supposed to do in here other than what they say. So I'm just saying, hello, the sea at the end of everything. It's a standalone fantasy novella with a little bit of romance. It's kind of literary in style, kind of low fantasy with some mythology. I'll mention more about the characters in the audition script notes, which is next. But the story is told from the point of view of Marin. She's a shy young woman living in a small village. Throughout the course of the story, she's reconnecting with her sister, as well as taking care of a strange man who washes up during a magical storm. It isn't set in any particular time period, but it's not modern day. More like a very rural village, perhaps early 1900s. And I go into my marketing plans, especially the Kickstarter, because that is a big selling point, and it was a big selling point for the people who auditioned for Under the Earth as well. Currently running the Kickstarter for this novella. It's going until September 7th. It's over 700% funded, with the stretch goal for the audiobook reached. The Kickstarter has a lot of art that might help with the vibe of the story, so here's a link to the Kickstarter. I have almost 7,000 TikTok followers, almost 6,000 Instagram followers. I was very lucky in that during this campaign, I had a video for this book go viral, and it went over 300,000 views. So I can throw in the line that says videos netting hundreds of thousands of views on this book. And right now, social media is my entire marketing. That's what I put in there. I'm assuming it's not supposed to be too much longer because you get 2,000 characters and I got 700 left. So we're moving on down to the audition script. The audition script is 2 to 3 pages of a scene or multiple scenes from your book that the people who apply for this are going to read off. It gives you a little advice that if your book has multiple lead characters and or accents, make sure to feature them in the audition script. So I got my pages and I just selected these from different parts of the book. I have about 4 main characters in here and 1 side character who's kind of quirky, and I want to make sure that people who audition are sort of getting a feel for all the characters and that I like the voice they're doing for all of them. So I tried to pick a few small scenes that got as many of the characters in there as possible. The first scene I picked is just the first part of the book. I just want to hear the first part of the book. That's not strictly necessary. You don't have to start with the first chapter. I just did that in Under the Earth and I liked it a lot, and I'm doing it here. Scene 2 has the main character and her brother-in-law speaking because they have a couple of conversations. He's got a lot of time on page, so I want to see how any producer would make his voice sound. Scene 3 has the main character, it has the love interest, and it has the side character that I was mentioning. All 3 of them talk a little bit, so that was a good scene to put in. And scene 4 was just between Marin and her sister Vivian. A lot of these characters don't actually talk very much, so it was a bit of a struggle trying to get good conversations in as little amount of page time as possible. So that is 2.5 pages. You don't want to go over 3 pages, just like they say. People who are auditioning for this, it can take them over an hour to do a couple of pages and produce them and upload them, and they have no guarantee that they're going to be picked, so you want to respect their time and not do too many pages worth of scenes. But I just saved that as a PDF. I'm going to grab this. Hopefully my internet is working correctly. There we go. But before we go, we have audition script notes as well. It says just include additional details on character scenes in the box below. So I also have this written up. I might have done too many words. Let's see. Oof, I did too many words. I'll just get rid of this first introductory sentence because I didn't really need that. We don't really need that much, do we? So for this, I'm giving a little bit about each of the main characters. For names that are weird, I'm giving a pronunciation. I don't care about giving spoilers. I'm about to give the entire book to the person who I pick. I want to give them as much context as possible because they're trying to audition for this, so don't worry about spoilers. And then I'm saying which scene is which in the book to give a bit more context. Scene 1 is this, scene 2 is this, 3 and 4 is this. And I'm just saying thank you at the end. And we're gonna continue. And it's giving me something. What's wrong? What is wrong with it? You pulled this from Amazon. Oh, it doesn't like the H4. Okay. That's Amazon's tag. Hey, we're picking up filming on a different day. Don't worry about it. So next up, we are going to import our chapter names from Kindle, which isn't going to work for me because I do not have the ebook interior file set up on Kindle. I just have the cover up for a pre-order. We're just gonna put those in manually. I'm gonna go over here. We're going to grab our titles. Double check they are correct. Yes, I can count up to 10. I'm going to save and continue. How many words are in my book? I don't know. 32,000. I own all the rights, which reminds me I need to copyright this book. Copyright your book, folks. Then Amazon can't bully you. I own world rights. So they're gonna ask you about distribution here, and I mentioned you're gonna have to figure out distribution for yourself. There's a whole argument that goes into either side. It's kind of like whether you want to go into Kindle Unlimited or not. It's all gonna depend on what you wanna do, and if you're doing a royalty share agreement with your narrator, you have to be exclusive with Amazon. But I am not doing that. I'm going to pay my narrator, and I have to be non-exclusive because of the Kickstarter distribution. So, I have to get screwed by Audible, basically. Also, I just like being non-exclusive because they're annoying about it. So I don't want to be exclusive to them. Yeah, I realize I'm in Kindle Unlimited and Amazon's also annoying, but you take the wins you can get. With the royalty share option, you split your royalties with your narrator. Not all narrators will want to do this. I'm going to do pay for production. They're going to ask me to do a pay per finished hour rate. These are the ranges they let you pick from. Honestly, I wish they let me pick from multiple because I would like to know like anything between 100 and 1,000. Just out of interest, I would like to know that, but I have to pick a range. Obviously, if I had less funding, I would go on the lower end of this. You are going to tend to get more professional narrators and maybe narrators with a larger audience themselves, the more expensive you go. Last time I did $200 to $400 per finished hour, and so that means if you get a narrator who's $200 per finished hour, if your book ends up being an 8-hour audiobook, it's the 8 hours times the 200. It's not however many hours they spend working on it in its entirety. So I'm gonna pick this, and this is an estimate. Last time Under the Earth was estimated for 8 hours of production time, and it was over 9 hours, so I did end up paying a little bit more. I'm able to fund this through the Kickstarter, and I have enough wiggle room with that, so I'm happy with that estimate. I mean, it's expensive. It's very expensive, but I'm happy enough with that estimate. So we're gonna save and continue. So we can review our information down here. We got the blurb that did come out correctly. Thank you. Fiction, English, female, young adult voice, and by young adult we mean not teenager because teenager was something different. General American, not a specified vocal style because I don't know. Sci-fi fantasy, gonna publish in February 2014, at the latest 2024. Wow, okay. There's the Amazon sales rank, which is actually weirdly higher than I thought it would be. Somebody must have pre-ordered it, I don't know. Got my comments. We have the audition script. You can go back and edit the information here if you want, but otherwise, I'm ready to go. So we're gonna post it to ACX. So they're going to review it, and within a day or a couple of days, it's going to be posted. From here on out, it's pretty simple and straightforward. They did change this layout a little bit, but you're going to get messages up here that people have auditioned for your book. You will also probably get emails. Under the audition tab, you will get a list of people who are auditioning for your book, and you can listen to it. You can download the file. You will be able to message people if you have questions, or maybe if you want them to try a voice differently, if you're really on the fence about somebody. And under the Produce Audiobook tab, once you have selected a narrator, they will upload the first 15 minutes narrated of the book, and then they will upload chapters at a time. They may do all the chapters at once they're done, or a chapter at a time. You can ask, you can request as you go along. My last narrator did 1 chapter at a time, so because I was very impatient, I wanted to listen to them as quickly as possible. And under here, you'll get your sales once it's actually live. Since I am not exclusive to Audible, I will not get to set a pre-order date. That's another rather annoying thing about Audible. So I can't set a pre-order date for this book at all. I can just, once I pick a narrator, once they have finished producing it, ACX is going to review all the files. That is supposed to take, I think, only a couple of weeks, but sometimes I know it has taken over a month for other people. and then they will just post it whenever they feel like it. So, the See at the End of Everything is now set up. I will be getting auditions for this book. Very exciting. I do know there are other markets for audiobooks out there. Findaway Voices is another place where you can get audiobooks produced. I have not used them yet. I may use them in the future, and if I do, I will do a video similar to this talking about it and how to set it up. But I am in general relatively happy with the ACX process as far as finding a narrator goes. I'm not thrilled with the publishing side of it, but it's kind of Amazon. It's kind of like a thing you have to deal with no matter what. But this is a non-exclusive agreement, so I'm going to get to do whatever I want to do with this audiobook. If I want to post it on YouTube, I can post it on YouTube, and I might. Genuinely, I might. I don't know. I would have to actually monetize this channel first, but I might. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative and it makes ACX a little bit less intimidating. You can pre-order the See at the End of Everything. You can also read Under the Earth, Over the Sky, and Dying Starlight, and all my other books. Links are in the description. If you have questions, let me know and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!